We're going to have Eric Ginder talk to us. He's one of the partners in White and Bright dental, the dental hygiene firm. I mean, here's his bio right here. But anyway, let me talk to you about Eric for a minute, because you need to pay attention to what he's saying. He does a lot of mediation, he does a lot of arbitration. He's on the CAR strategic board with David Bright. They get all the latest, they defend realtors. The interesting thing about White and Bright, in addition to the fact that Mr. Bright's father taught Annette the clarinet, is that they're willing to go to trial. And this gives them a leg up, because you'll find a lot of attorneys want to settle, and so they ultimately give away money, because trials are, you know, a little intimidating for some lawyers, but they're not intimidating for this firm, and it gives them extra credibility with plaintiff's counsel that, okay, let's go to trial. Let's see if you really have something to say. But my point here is that these guys are knee-deep in what's going on in California, the trial process today, and the mediation process, the arbitration process, and you need to listen carefully to what Eric's got to say. And with that, Eric, I'm going to take the mic off and hand it over to you.
There you go. Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Is this working? Can anybody hear me?
Not yet.
Not yet. No? You got it. How about that? No, better? No. Okay. Do I have to hold it like this? No? Still not working.
Maybe it's not.
Okay, it's not in the on. That's why this man is your leader. All right. Thank you very much. Yeah, flip this thing on. I'm Eric Ginder. As Jim said, I am with the firm of White and Bright. I won't spend a lot of time talking about myself, because I don't really like to do that. But I will tell you, for those of you that are following along with today's hottest issues in the real estate market, that you can ignore number 2. I am not David Bright. I wasn't practicing when I was 10, so I don't have 30 years of experience. But I have defended hundreds of brokers and agents. And I've defended them all over the state. I've defended brokers and agents in towns in California where I had to do a Google search just to find out where it was. So all over the place. But anyway, let's get to number 3, which is a case study. Now, I have got to be honest with you. I don't know that this is one of the hottest issues in the real estate market today. But I will tell you this. It is based on a trial that David and I took to trial a year ago and won. And because of that, it is required speaking that anybody that goes out from White and Bright has to talk about this. And if we don't, David feels a disturbance in the force, and he'll do one of those Darth Vader things on me, and I won't be able to talk until I actually go through this. So here it is. I'll get through it pretty quick. Oh, and by the way, David sends his apologies. He is sick. He has no voice today. I was sent up here because I'm the person that infected the office with everything. But I have a 4-year-old daughter, and she got me sick, and then I brought it into the office and got everybody sick. But I'm over it, so don't worry, I'm not contagious. All right, here we go. Buyer alleges she overpaid for the house. Now, this was a buyer who bought a house down in Carlsbad. And she bought it in 2005, May of 2005, which is a significant date for us, because in our real estate market, that is kind of when the market peaked for us and started to kind of level out and go down. She claimed that she overpaid for the house, and what she tried to do was say, well, you know, my house isn't worth what I paid for it, which was probably true in 2008 when this case came up for trial, because the market had, you know, dipped and gone down. But the point we were trying to make was, we're not responsible for the market, nor is our client. So was the house worth what you paid for it when you bought it? Her response to that was, no, I overpaid for it when I bought it. And we had a different view on that. Our opinion was, no, you got exactly what you paid for, and you suffered the same hit that everybody had. So what did she do to try to make her case? Well, let me fill you in on the background a little bit. She and her husband were moving down from Northern California. They wanted to buy a place in sort of the North San Diego coastal region, you know, Carlsbad, that kind of area, Encino, Encinitas, whatever. They enlist one agent who they shows them about, I don't know, 40 houses, and they fire him, and they wind up with our agent. And our agent shows them a total of about 86 houses. Yeah, so these people had a pretty good idea of what the market was like out there in that time frame. Our agent represents just her, so he's not a dual agent in this scenario. He's only representing the buyer. And I don't know if any of you watched the Today Show and you were watching it about 18 months ago, you may have seen the lady on whom this hypothetical is based. She actually got a reporter from the New York Times to write an article about this, and it appeared on the front page, although below the fold. Still, front page of the New York Times in January of '08. And then that got her a spot on the Today Show, and she went on the Today Show with Ann Curry, and talked about how awfully she'd been treated and how horrible the real estate industry was. David and I were both offered the opportunity to come on the Today Show with her. We declined. Good Morning America called us up and asked us if we wanted to go on. We declined and said, we've got things to say, but we're going to say them in court. We're not going to say them on TV. And it turned out really to be the better option. But anyway, the case got some national attention, so there was some pressure on us. But what she said was was the following. She paid, I don't know, let's say about $1.3 million for this house. And our guy, our agent, did the loan for her as well. They were selling a house up in Northern California. They got some cash out of it, but they still needed some money, so they got a loan for the property. And the reason that's significant is because in doing the loan, it meant that he also got a copy of the appraisal, which, you don't usually get if you're just representing, one of the parties in it. But he's doing the loan, so he gets a copy of the appraisal. This particular lady and her husband they're what you would expect from people who looked at well over 100 houses before making their decision. They're kind of type A personalities. So she's after him. Did it appraise? Did it appraise? Did it appraise? He finally gets the appraisal and says, yes, it appraised. She says, oh, okay, can you send me a copy? He says, sure, I'll send you a copy. This is about 2 weeks before escrow closes. And he sends her a copy. The problem is he sends her a copy about a week after escrow closes. And he thinks to himself, what's the big deal? It appraised. Well, if you look at the appraisal, the appraiser used 3 comps. And each one of the comps came in at about anywhere from about $150,000 to $250,000 below market value. So he gives her a copy of the appraisal in a big stack of documents. They meet afterwards. He brings a gift, I don't know, a bottle of wine or something, by the property. Hey, how's it going? Everything, you moving in all right? Blah, blah, blah. Drops off the gift, drops off the package of all the stuff. A couple of days later, she gets a flyer from a competing realtor in the area that says, hey, look what houses are going for in your neighborhood. And she sees a property that's up the street, about 3 doors up the street. And this is a place called Aviara in Carlsbad. And I don't know how many of you are familiar with that area, but it's tract homes. They're nice tract homes, but they're tract homes. So this is the exact same floor plan as her house. Same size, whatever. Virtually the same size backyard. It's got a pool. Hers doesn't have a pool. Anyway, it sold for about $150,000 less than hers 6 weeks prior to when she went into escrow. So that sends her into absolute orbit. She pulls out her appraisal, looks at the comps, and sees, lo and behold, this property was one of the comps. She looks at the other 2 comps. She sees another plan that's directly across the street from hers that sold for $200,000 less, and it closed escrow the same day that hers did. And then there's another one that was down the street a little bit on the other side of the street. Different plan, but it sold for about $250,000 less, but it was bigger. So she is, as my dad would say, madder than a wet hen at this point and is just livid. So she starts picketing the local office that our guy works for. And that doesn't get her a whole